Hi friends, I am back with episode 2 of my new series, and today I want to talk about Jerry Lee Lewis. I have mentioned him briefly in previous videos, but I don't think people understand just how egregious this man's actions were. Jerry Lee Lewis is an American singer, songwriter, and pianist. He has been described as a pioneer of rock and roll music, as well as one of the most influential pianists of the 20th century. One of his greatest hits was the song Great Balls of Fire. He was very well loved in his time, and people would travel from all over to hear him and his band perform live. But his successful career would take a massive hit in 1957 when he was 23 years old and married a 13-year-old child. Not only did he marry a 13-year-old child, this 13-year-old child was his blood-related cousin, Myra Brown. At the time of their marriage, Myra still believed that Santa Claus was real. All of this was extremely offensive to his fans, and they began to boycott his concerts, and for this reason, he had multiple shows canceled. His rate for personal appearances went from $10,000 a show to $250 per show. Nobody wanted to see a cradle robber perform live. Not surprisingly, the king of rock and roll himself supported Jerry Lee Lewis by telling a reporter that there was absolutely nothing wrong with Jerry's relationship with this 13-year-old child, as long as they both loved each other. And when I say his support was not surprising, not long after making this statement, Elvis began dating a 14-year-old child. Years after this, Jerry Lee Lewis was actually arrested for trying to unalive Elvis Presley, but that's a whole other story. Jerry Lee Lewis's successful rock and roll career was virtually over, but a few years later in 1960, he rebranded himself as a country musician, where he found some success. Jerry Lee Lewis and his cousin Myra had 2 children together during the relationship, but in 1970, Myra filed for divorce. In her divorce filing, Myra reported that Jerry was addicted to multiple different substances, an alcoholic, a cheater, and he had physically and mentally harmed her in multiple different ways throughout the course of their relationship. After their divorce was final, Jerry went on to marry multiple different women over a period of time, including another one of his cousin's ex-wives. Jerry has been married a total of 7 times and is 86 years old today. Myra eventually remarried and found success as a real estate agent. She now lives a quiet life with her husband in Georgia and is now 77 years old today. In 1989, there was actually a movie made about Jerry and Myra's relationship called Great Balls of Fire, starring Dennis Quaid, Winona Ryder, and Alec Baldwin. But if you want to learn more details about this twisted relationship, I highly recommend reading the autobiography that Myra co-wrote called Great Balls of Fire, The Uncensored Story of Jerry Lee Lewis. That's all I have for you guys today. I will see you in the next episode.